Hi students, today's video is going to be all about writing the body paragraphs and integrating textual evidence correctly. Remember to check the rough outline checklist and template when you write your paragraphs. The intro should have the hook, tag, context, and thesis statement, and your thesis statement has to answer the prompt you have chosen and include those 3 ways in which that idea, lesson, theme, message, moral, criticism, or warning is revealed. Those 3 reasons will end up as the topics of your 3 body paragraphs. If you look at my sample thesis statement on the sample prompt, which is not one of the choices you can choose from, but remember this is the sample prompt that I wrote a thesis statement on, and you guys wrote notes on it in your interactive journals, you will notice that I had 3 reasons: the legalistic characters, sacrificial characters, and the silent majority. So I've placed these 3 general reasons in the 3 boxes on my outline. I also want to mention that the point of these reasons is not just to list out reasons, but to back up my main claim that the power of one's beliefs lead to ethical dilemmas. Remember, an ethical dilemma is when a person struggles with doing what is right or doing what is wrong. That's why I need to always go back to this claim about the power of beliefs leading to an ethical dilemma, whether I am in body paragraph 1 talking about the legalistic characters, whether I am in paragraph 2 talking about the sacrificial characters, or in paragraph 3 about the silent majority. So in other words, I cannot just have an entire paragraph about legalistic characters. You must include how these legalistic beliefs then lead to ethical dilemmas, which was in the thesis statement, right? If it does not refer back to the thesis statement about how the power of one's beliefs lead to ethical dilemmas, then my paper is now off topic, and then I might get a really low score. So remember, you have to argue for the main claim that's in your thesis statement through the 3 body paragraphs. They cannot be isolated paragraphs that just talk about the story. Okay, so it has to have a cohesive connection to your thesis statement. Now let's look at my textual evidence and planning. I have decided to write my first body paragraph on 2 characters who are legalistic, Danforth and Hale. However, I plan on differentiating how their legalism leads them to ethical dilemmas. Danforth doesn't get swayed by the ethical problems of continuing on with the hangings. He would rather follow the court system and rules. This is the part where his power of beliefs are in the legal system, even if it means potentially killing innocent people. On the other hand, Reverend Hale definitely feels the weight of the ethical dilemma or the ethical problem of killing these people, and he even struggles with the fact that he is partly responsible for their death. So he considers himself like a murderer because he knows in his heart that the accused people are actually very innocent. Therefore, I am going to explore and analyze this in my body paragraph by showing the connection between these legalistic characters and the power of their beliefs in shaping ethical dilemmas. One character doesn't really get swayed by these ethical problems, the other character does. Here are my 2 pieces of textual evidence I will be using. The first one is when Danforth basically says that he will never ever postpone the hangings. He says that they will be hung no matter what, that these 12 are already they were already executed, so he has to continue with the 7 that are to be executed that morning. He even says that, let's say that 10,000 come up against the law, he would just hang all 10,000. That not even an ocean of salt tears could melt the resolution of the statutes. He basically says that nothing is going to come between him and the law. So in other words, his legalistic beliefs, the power of his legalistic beliefs, it creates this conundrum, this ethical problem where he's willing to basically kill people. The second piece of textual evidence is when Hale basically is being sarcastic and he says that he's come to the devil's work because he feels like he is a murderer. He even says that he has blood upon his head. So this is an example of how the ethical dilemma he faces because of the power of his beliefs on the law. It creates this tension in him and it makes him feel so much regret, and he actually realizes the consequences of his actions. He regrets the fact that he came to Salem, that he started these witch trials as a person who came in as the expert on witchcraft, and he's very sorry to see these innocent people basically be in line to die. So I just pulled out my Crucible rough outline, my Crucible essay rough outline, where I have my 3 reasons here in my 3 body paragraph boxes. Here's my first one, my second one, and then my third one. So I'm going to go ahead and do an example with the first body paragraph. Remember what I said before, I really do need to definitely incorporate this idea, the power of one's beliefs leading to ethical dilemmas, right? And I'm going to do that by talking about legalistic characters. I've already have my 2 pieces of evidence. One is from Hale, one from Danforth. I'm going to explain how they're a little bit different. So now I'm going to get started. Before I do that, though, I have to realize that there is a checklist here. Here's the checklist for all of the body paragraphs. But the good thing is, on your template, which is here, I have already included it. So I just want to tell you guys that my example is going to be really long. I like to write because I'm an English teacher, and so you do not have to write as much as I do. I'm just going to be showing you what a really strong body paragraph looks like so that you understand where you're going towards. Okay, so you can kind of see like the destination. And hopefully in a few years or even this year, you will be a better writer than Miss Park. And that's the whole point. That's why I'm teaching you how to write. So once again, don't be freaked out by the length of my first body paragraph. Just look at it as a really good example, all right? Now, I do need a transition word, so I could use the word like first. It's not the strongest transition word, but I'm just going to use it. The reason why I definitely need you to use transition words is because just like the training wheels thing, when it comes to formulaic writing, there are certain things that you have to master before you can graduate to the next level. And one of the things that Santa Ana Unified, the writing committee looks at is transition words, the use of these transition words. So we're just going to put it in here even though it sounds a little bit weird. Let me just write like firstly then, okay? So firstly, and then I need to have my topic sentence, right? And my topic sentence has to include legalistic characters and then the part about the power of one's beliefs. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. The legalistic and authoritative characters in the play are so obstinate. Obstinate means like super stubborn in their beliefs that they value legalism, which is like rules and laws, and the power of rules. So it's always good to incorporate academic language like power. Remember, that's a universal theme, and rules as well, okay? Over the lives of their community. Ooh, that's another universal theme word, members. Okay, so that's my topic sentence that includes a transition word. So firstly, the legalistic and authoritative characters in the play are so obstinate in their beliefs that they value legalism and the power of rules over the lives of their community members. Okay, so now I'm going to incorporate context. Context is like the who, what, when, where, why, and how, so that everybody kind of understands where I'm coming from. So I'm going to write such characters. So this is the rough draft, like the rough draft template. It's important to, I'm trying to tab this to make it more of like a first paragraph. Don't worry about it now. On Monday when you guys get back, we're going to actually copy and paste everything into a fresh document, and we're going to make it look more like it's supposed to. So it's going to be double spaced, Times New Roman, 12-point font with the correct spacing and everything. But for now, you can just stick it in the box like this. So let's just... yeah, because it makes me cringe to just, put spaces. I'd rather click on tab and do it correctly. So we'll do that later. So don't worry about that right now. Okay, so such characters, so this is the context, include Judge Danforth, who rules the province that Salem is a part of. Remember, you're setting up the setting, giving the context, so the reader could understand what you're talking about. And Reverend Hale, who is brought in, so spell everything correctly, brought into the town to rid the community of the alleged witches, right? That's why he's brought in. These 2 characters, so I'm still in context, guys. I haven't even started with textual evidence. I'm telling you, I like to write. These 2 characters reveal how the power of one's beliefs can truly result in ethical, there we go, here's my thesis statement, ethical dilemmas that cannot be undone. Remember, I told you can't just talk about legalistic characters. You have to back up that thesis statement. In fact, I put up the thesis statement right here so I remember it, okay? I have to keep asking myself, am I referring back to the thesis statement? And the answer right now is yes, I am. So now let's lead into the first piece of textual evidence. Judge Danforth refuses to postpone the hangings when both Reverend Parris and Hale implore him to postpone or provide pardons to those who are accused of witchcraft. Okay, here's my textual evidence. He officially exclaims, I'm not going to say says because it's annoying if you keep using the same exact word, right? He officially exclaims, I will not receive a single plea for pardon or postponement. So this is the quote, and this is a direct quote. Do you see how I'm not using this quote as its own sentence? I'm integrating it within my words. That's what I mean by integrating the quote, okay? So this section right here that I highlight, that is not part of the quote. That's my words. This part within the quote is from exact word for word taken from the play, right? He officially exclaims, blah, 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 and continues, ooh, I'm writing my own words again, to add that, and then he actually, in the quote, he says I, but anytime you have to replace a word that's in the actual quote with another word because it makes more grammatical sense, because here I don't want to say I want to say he, you have to put it in brackets, okay? So instead of say I should hang, I'm going to write he should hang. 10,000 that dared to rise against the law, and an ocean of salt could not melt the resolution of the statutes. Boom. Okay, do you see what I did here? I accidentally put a period. This is something that a lot of people accidentally do because you're used to it. You don't put a period here because you have to put the MLA in text citation. So go to the OWL Purdue website to see how in-text citations work. It's super simple. The author's last name and the page number, and that's it. You don't have to write right column, second column, anything like that. Just continue. So now we're done with the first piece of textual evidence. What comes after, the P and the A of TPAC, right? The paraphrase and analysis, but I like to call it commentary and analysis because I don't like it when we just repeat ourselves, right? So I'm going to now go ahead and do the commentary and analysis section. Keep talking about what's going on, the why and the how, and how it connects, and break it apart and evaluate it. Danforth exclaims this to show that nothing can stand in the way or stand between him and the law. This is his legalistic power of beliefs, right? He refers to the laws or the statutes, which is what laws are, okay? So now I'm referring back to the text as if they are more important or more valuable than human life. This has deadly consequences and creates, ooh, there's my textual evidence referring back to my thesis statement again, ethical dilemma. Oops. As Danforth will proceed to hang the innocent victims of the witch hunt, all in the name of the court system and rules. He is unwilling to listen to other perspectives. I'm still going, guys. I'm still going. And do you see how I have my other gate icon words? I'm telling you, these icon words just elevate and deepen your analysis, okay? So listen to other perspectives. So we have perspectives here. Where am I? So he is unwilling to listen to other perspectives or review the case because he wants to uphold his legalistic beliefs. Okay, I'm done now talking about Danforth, finally. Now I'm going to lead into my second. I don't want to just say like, boom, Reverend Hale. I have to lead into my second my second textual evidence because we want to keep everything, we want it to flow smoothly. Like, remember what we talked about when we did the hamburger metaphor with the sauce and like how everything needs to kind of like match in terms of their flavor profiles, right? So we have to continue to make it very smooth. So let's continue on. Another example of a legalistic character is shown through Reverend Hale, who, or actually, let's differentiate him right now. However, he is, let's start a new sentence. Okay. However, comma, he is much more aware of the ethical dilemma that arises that he encounters. How about he encounters? Okay. Remember, present tense, the literary present. I know it sounds weird to talk about old characters that happened 300 years ago in the present tense, but that's what you do when you talk about literature. So let's continue on. Reverend Hale realizes the consequences of his legalistic beliefs and how they have made him a murderer. Obviously, we know he's not a murderer. Remember we talked about denotation and connotation? He didn't personally murder anyone, but he feels that his contribution towards the witch hunt has made him equally guilty to Danforth, because he feels like he should have done something in the very beginning, at the very beginning of the witch hunt. However, he is much more aware of the ethical dilemma that he encounters. Reverend Hale realizes the consequences of his legalistic beliefs and how they have made him a murderer. So let's continue. He struggles, so I'm still leading in. He struggles to grapple with this reality. When he states, okay, now I'm going to use the textual evidence. There is blood in my, there is blood on my head. Can you not see the blood on my head? And then I'm going to, remember, you want to put the Miller 39 here and then the period, okay? Hale mentions this, so this is my commentary and analysis. This right after, so I'm giving you some context first, after he explains how he has come back to Salem to counsel those who are accused to simply lie and save their lives. He wants, the accused, such as Rebecca Nurse and John Proctor, to falsely confess that they are guilty of witchcraft so they can spare their own lives. He wants the accused, such as, actually, even though lying is seen as a sin, so that's why he said he came to do the devil's work. Reverend Hale thinks it is better that they lie than if they die as innocent people. Reverend Hale, an expert on exorcism and witchcraft, is the one that was the one who, because it's a person who, not that, started the legal proceedings when Reverend Parris invited him to eradicate the witches in the town. Therefore, Hale believes. So I could have made that shorter. I think I talked too much about that, but it's okay. But he is responsible. That's why it's a rough draft, because you can go back and fix things. For the past and future deaths of, this is the part where it's important, of the accused, and considers himself a murderer by stating that there is blood on his head. In conclusion, okay, finally my concluding sentence. While Danforth's legalistic beliefs lead him to continue towards a path of unethical accusations and death, comma, Reverend Hale's realizations of the deadly power of his legalistic beliefs show the regret and pain that these unethical consequences. So it's showing you the differences between these two characters. They both have powerful beliefs, right, in the legal system, but one of them realizes that the power of the beliefs is potentially dangerous because people die, aka Reverend Hale believes this. The other person, Judge Danforth, he doesn't realize this. He is met with ethical dilemmas, yet he continues on to hang the people who are accused, right? pain that, oops, there's a typo right there. There's probably a lot of typos, sorry about that. That these unethical consequences can have on an individual. So obviously, if I was doing this for a class, I would have to go back and check all my mistakes. But I'm trying to get this done within a normal time for you guys, so you don't have to watch a video for like 30 minutes. Danforth and Hale, however, are not the only ones whose beliefs impact their actions. Okay, so I want to show you guys something. Right here it says challenge, end here but lead into the next paragraph. That's what I just did here. I could have left my body paragraph right here. This is a fine ending concluding sentence right here, the C in the TPAC. But if I want to be a little bit more skillful, I could actually add another concluding sentence that now transitions to the next body paragraph, which is going to be about the sacrificial characters like John Proctor, Giles Corey, Rebecca Nurse, which I'm going to be putting in this box, right? Because now if I say Danforth and Hale, however, are not the only ones whose beliefs impact their actions, I'm going to tell you about more people here. Their beliefs definitely impact their actions. I mean, they basically sacrifice their own lives to protect their name, to protect their legacy, and to protect their families, right? So that's why I added that last sentence. That's an example of how you can lead into your next body paragraph. All right, so, wow, that was a very long body paragraph, okay? So here we are. Long body paragraph. It's not double spaced, I know. It's not indented, I know. Don't worry, we'll add all of that when we do our rough draft document. This is when we do our second draft document. This is the rough draft. It's here for a reason so that you can look at all of the notes and the hints and the advice that I have for you. So I just want you guys to understand a few things, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about some things that I think are super important that you have to know. The first thing is that I have a topic sentence right here. So here's my topic sentence. Here's my concluding sentence, which is pretty much this here. But I also have a second concluding sentence that transitions to my next paragraph. So that's like my bonus transition sentence or my bonus concluding sentence, right? I have my two pieces of textual evidence. Okay, so here I have my textual evidence, my first one. Okay, so remember every paragraph needs how many pieces? 2. So here's my first one. Here's my second one. Okay, so then all of this is like background information that kind of gives you like an overview of the story. All of this is analysis. Okay, and then more background information, which is basically telling you like the summary of things. Then all of this is analysis. So I have all of my things completed. Okay, I have my background info, lead in, cite textual evidence, analysis, textual evidence 2, cite textual evidence 2, analysis, concluding sentence, and the challenge. I have all of the things in the checklist that I need to have in my body paragraph. Something else you have to understand is the in-text citations. Remember to do them correctly. Here's the in-text citation right here, Miller 39. Miller 39. Now, some of you guys are not going to do Miller something because some of you have other sources that you're using, right? Remember how if you're doing the extra fire level, then you are going to be incorporating textual evidence from an outside source. So that's it, scholars. This is my first body paragraph that includes in-text citations. I correctly integrated the textual evidence. I did not quote drop. I correctly analyzed the text without repeating everything again and again and again. I have my intro, my topic sentence, my concluding sentence, the challenge sentence. I have it all here. It could be better. This is my rough draft. So if this was in real life and I was an 8th grader, I would probably have to go over it again. I think I was a little wordy here, so I may have to fix things. But remember what I told you guys about a rough draft. It's supposed to be rough. And between the rough and final draft, we have many stages. We're going to be doing 2 revision activities, one on Monday and one on Tuesday. Then next Wednesday and Thursday, you will be working on your final draft, and you will be turning in your final draft on Thursday. So that's before you move on to your Veterans Day weekend. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask me. You can also email me anytime, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Please note that this video is unlisted. The only way you can access this video is through a link that is posted on Canvas. So once again, you will not be able to access this video by simply going to the Deborah Park 8 YouTube channel. Thank you.